Dear students, welcome to the assignment and examination-based conduct session for 2022. The subject is learner support, school readiness, diversity, and multi-grade teaching. This is the subject code is DJP LSSDM11, Year 1, Semester 1. Dear students, my name is Matilda Kauliolelwe-Shihepo, the tutor for DJP LSSDM11. This presentation will guide you in your preparation for the assignment as well as the examination for this subject. It is important to point out the most important points that you have to do is as follows. First, work through your study guide with care and diligence. Do all learning activities in the guide and then check the answers given at the end of each module in order for you to understand better. If you have not understand the study guide and its content, you might have difficulty with the preparation of your examination. You must understand each unit in depth. The following is important information for your assignment as well as examination. The examination format. The duration is 2 hours and it's 100 marks. The exam scripts consist out of 5 questions. It is important that you answer all questions, but where there will be optional questions, you need to choose only one. The study materials that you should use is the IOL Study Guide for Pre-Primary Diploma in Education, Year 1, Semester 1, or the Kindle. There are verbs that is given in your questions. Every part of information can be assessed in a number of different ways of questions, such as explain. When you're asked to explain, you should describe something and indicate the relationship between the things. When you're asked to list, you should present a list of facts in a certain order. When you should ask to define, you should give the precise meaning of something based on the concept. Discuss, you should give a clear description by pointing out positive and negative features. Distinguish, you should point out clearly the differences between the two sets. Describe, you should provide detailed features of an issue or stages of a process in a logical sequence. When you ask to criticize, give a recent judgment of something after carefully weighing facts, information, or perspectives. When you ask to interpret, you should explain the meaning of information or actions. State, you should express something definitely or clearly. Outlined, you should give a summary of it. analyze, you should examine something methodologically and in detail. When you ask to justify, you should show or prove to be right or reasonable. When you're asked to evaluate, you should determine the significance, worth, or conditions of usually, be careful appraisal, and study. Identify, you should establish or indicate who or what someone or something is. So those are the different verbs that you are going to see in your questions. Now we are coming to the examination cover page. Under student details, the following information must be filled in. The student number, your surname, first name, ID number, and examination center. The instructions, you should read the general instruction and examination instructions carefully and ensure that you know what is expected before you start. You are not permitted to take any form of notes into the examination room. Plan your time wisely and write as quickly and neatly as you can. Make sure that you watch the time to ensure that you finish on time. If time permits, read through your answers to correct possible mistakes. Very important. Write your answers on the lines provided in the question papers. The quantity of lines given will also help you to determine the length of your answers. Also look at the marks allocated to each question to determine how many facts to write to obtain the correct marks. Sometimes, dear students, you are only asked for a 5-point question whereby you will even write 2 pages, which is really not relevant. So please don't do that. Work accordingly the mark given. Your work must be neat. Now we are coming to our study guide and we are going to start with Unit 1. Unit 1 is about the basic features of learning support. Now, you should know the principles of learning support. Know the NIED support manual. It's very important, students. Know the principles and the policies that guide quality inclusive education. You should know when learners are entitled to learning support. Who are entitled to learning support? What type of learners are they? 1.5. Know the characteristics of the left brain and right brain learners. So, if the question is about a left brain learner, just write only the left brain, and if it's right, then please just write about the right brain learner. Don't mix your answers, please, because you might lose marks for that. When you ask to you must know the difference between remedial teaching and learning support. So, dear students, there is a difference between remedial teaching and learning support. So, read through your study guides, and then you must get the difference between the two words. Unit 1 continues. Know the responsibilities of learning support group teacher as well as the class teacher in a learning support program. We know that in learning support, we have different groups there. So there is a principal, then there is a learning support group teacher, and then there is a class teacher. So please, you should know this. And then there is also the parents. But here, you should, in 1.7, read carefully, underline what you should read, because it's a lot of things. 1.8, know the different concepts of dominance. 1.9, know the learning style features and the teaching activities that provide learning support to the linguistic auditory learners. 1.10, know the different concepts of dominance. How a teacher should provide holistic learning support in daily lesson. So this is all what you must pay attention in study unit 1. But when time permits, please just read everything. We go over to study unit 2. Study unit 2 is about the need for and features of particular activities of learning. 2.1, you should know the 8 abilities of Gardner's intelligent. 2.2 is know the common learning disabilities. Know the signs of learners with speech or language barriers. 2.4 is know the purpose of curriculum. So why do we have a curriculum, or why should we follow the curriculum? So that is the purpose of it. Know the warning signs of learners that are physically abused. A. B is sexually abused. And C, neglected learners. So these different learners, their warning signs will tell you whether the child is physically, sexually, or the child is neglected. Know the policies that guide inclusive education. Know the main barriers to educational facilities for learners with disabilities. So you can pay attention to this 7 things that I just mentioned here, the subtopics in Unit 2. But when time permits, you can read through in order to acquaint yourself with the other things or the subtopics. So we go over to study Unit 3. It is about theory and activities of school readiness for pre-primary learners. As we know that the pre-primary learners, as a pre-primary teacher, I have to prepare these learners for formal teaching. But then, when you go to grade 1, you'll find yourself that the first 6 weeks is also readiness program. So this is about those learners who did not get the chance to be in pre-primary class. So it's very important to know the definition of school readiness. So what is school readiness? And then you must know the 5 pre-literacy skills. Know the different activities to develop cross-motor skills, and know the readiness skills and their examples. We have 4 skills, readiness 4 skills, and their examples, so you should know them. Know the classroom strategies to teach spacing, so it's very important. Know the signs of self-care skills. How are these kids? How do you know that this child have a problem in self-care skills? So those are the signs. Know why communication skills are important. Why do we communicate? Know the concepts auditory discrimination as well as visual discrimination. So these 2 concepts differ, so know the difference of it. So this is all what you must know in study unit 3. So, and I believe that you might be curious to know about the other things, so you are welcome to do so. We go over to Unit 4. Study Unit 4 is about the relevant theory and its application in order to address diversity in classroom. So, understand the topic itself before you come to the subtopics that I'm going to tell you now here. Know the aims of differentiation. Know the purpose of communication. Know how to support learners with learning difficulties. If a learner has learning difficulties in your classroom, you should know how to support this learner. So the different steps. Know the elements of an inclusive classroom. Know the differentiation strategies. So there is aims and then there is strategies of differentiation. So you should know that. You should know the factors that contribute to social issues outside the classroom. Social issues that contribute from a child in the classroom, outside the classroom situation, you should know it. Know the features of the classroom as an effective learning environment. In order for you as a teacher to make your classroom effective, how should it be? So those are the features. Okay, Unit 4 continues. Know why a learner disrupts or misbehave in the classroom. So you should know why. So please, you will be dealing with learners from different backgrounds, different cultures, and then you might not know how to deal with this specific learner. There is something that is leading for a learner to misbehave or to disrupt the classroom. So instead of screaming to this child, you should know how to handle this specific child. Know the major types of adaptations for learners. You should know the different techniques and tools that you can use to assess a learner. So the 4.11 is the last point in Unit 4. You should know how to deal with gifted learners in the classroom. So gifted learners also need attention in order for them not to disrupt the others that are slow. So you should know how to deal with them. So there are different subtopics in Unit 4. In case if you still have enough space, enough time, please make sure that you read everything in Study Unit 4. We'll go to our last unit, and it is Unit 5. Unit 5 is about theoretical aspects and practical activities of multi-grade teaching. Know how to define the different terms. Monograde school, multi-grade class, monograde class, and multi-grade class. So, monograde school and monograde class, there is a difference there. Please make sure that you know the difference. Read thoroughly, take enough time. Multi-grade class and multi-grade school. So there is a difference between that. Please make sure that you differentiate this. Know the different types of activities found in most classrooms. You should know why there is a need for multi-grade teaching in our country, Namibia. Know the records that a multi-grade teacher should have. So we have different of them, so you should know all of them. Know the general guidelines for a classroom layout. How should a classroom layout look like in a multi-grade classroom? Know the features and application of useful teaching methods for multi-grade classroom. Know the advantages of multi-grade teaching for learners and teachers. The advantages, it is the good things from both sides, the learners and as well as a teacher. So you should know the advantages from both. In conclusion, we have come to the end of the presentation, so you now ought to know what is expected from you. Make sure that you know your venue and the time that your subjects will start. Consult the IOL officers for those details. Venue time, if you did not get your timetable, and not the subject tutor. Should you need help from me, you are welcome to phone me on 081 2739802 or mail me 8matilda@gmail.com so that I can help you in a well-constructed way. You can even call me so that I can assist you in your vernacular language. So, unfortunately, I'm only good in Oshivambo, Oshiherero, and Afrikaans. So those are the 3 other languages that I can speak beside English. You should contact me between 3 o'clock up to 7 o'clock in the afternoon. I wish you all the best with your exam or your assignment. Good luck. And know that the scope is not the end of everything. So you can read throughout your study guide so that you can be well equipped with the information. Thank you very much.